Bye, muchacho.
Bye.
Ok, Fundamentos de Español, lección 7. Vamos a comenzar. Anybody have any questions about any of the practice activities, whether it be on the app or in the book from yesterday? No? Okay. Hoy vamos a repasar cómo formar preguntas, questions, how to make questions. Vamos a repasar las fechas y los días y las actividades cotidianas, daily activities. It's a fun word, cotidianas. And then the new stuff we're going to take a look at, lo nuevo, vamos a aprender la tercera persona. So today we're going to learn a new form of the verb today to talk about he or she, the third person. Y hay una actividad de lectura, that means a reading activity, about los Orishas, a cultural thing in Cuba. So real quick, let's just get started off with some conversation. So let's go around the virtual room and make questions for each other. So remember, you make a question in the to form, you answer in the yo form. So you have to change the verb and match the verb with the sentence fragment over here to form a good logical sentence to do that. So we'll start with Sky. Let's do this order. Sky to Leah, Leah to Carly, and then Carly back to Sky.
¿Qué significa línea?
Yeah, so kind of what it sounds like. Online, in linea would be like online.
Online, okay.
Like on the internet, you know.
Yeah, I was just trying to find a verb. Leah, tú lees en línea.
Sí, me leo en línea.
So here's a common thing that kind of starts happening at some point, Leah. It's not me leo, it's yo leo, right? So
yeah.
I think, was it Carly, I think, that was asking about this verb gustar yesterday? This is where the confusion comes from, because it's one of the first things that we learn is how to say I like something, which, as I mentioned yesterday, is we're not actually saying I like something, we're saying that something pleases me. So that's why it's me gusta. And it's also why you don't say me for anything else, because me literally means me. It's actually the same word, me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can say yo leo, or you can drop that off altogether and just say leo.
Yo leo en línea.
Leo en línea.
Leo en línea.
Ahí está, perfecto. Another one, just because you were saying you're trying to figure out like what to say with this. I mean, there's a lot of things that we could do online from here, but one perfect for what we're doing, aprendes español en línea.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah. Or you could do like what I do almost every day, ordenas cosas, or ordena ropa en línea. Right? Like I order everything on Amazon these days. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Carly, ¿deseas las entradas?
Sí, deseo las entradas. Sky, ¿tú bebes mucha agua?
Sí, bebo mucha agua. Leah, ¿tú tomas el alcohol?
Sí, tomo el alcohol. Carly, ¿tú tomas los refrescos?
Sí, tomo los refrescos. Sky. ¿Tú ordenas una mesa?
For this one, just so you know, that's actually a valid question. But I think probably what you might be trying to say is reservas una mesa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it could be like literally reserved that table. Is that like the
Yeah,
same?
so reserving a table at a restaurant for like a special occasion versus ordenas una mesa would be like, do you order a table on Amazon for delivery?
That was a question, yeah.
So I will say, sí, ordenó una mesa.
Yeah.
And Leah, reservas un hotel.
Sí, reservo un hotel. Carly, las entradas al cine. That's the entrance to a cinema.
Yeah, good. So we've learned in the past, like for number 2, las entradas, the entrance of a meal would be an appetizers. So la entrada literally means the entrance. So depending on the context, in this situation, las entradas al cine, we're talking about movie tickets, right? It's our entry into the movie. So entradas are also, una entrada is also commonly used as like what we would call a ticket, concert tickets, movie tickets, anything where we're entering in, you know, it's our entry into something.
But like a ticket on a bus is a billeta.
That would be more, yeah, like a boleto.
Boleto.
Boleto. Or pasaje. Pasaje, it kind of sounds like passage, right? So tickets for travel. Boleto is just like the generic word for ticket, right? So you could also use that instead of entrada al cine, right? You could say los boletos al cine. Boleto is just a generic word for a ticket of any sort. But we'll kind of see these other words, like here, entrada has the idea that we're entering into something. Pasaje is a ticket for travel. It has the idea that it's like a passage ticket. So there are some other words that we might use as well.
Okay. Carly, ¿tú reservas las entradas al cine?
Sí, reservo las entradas al cine. Sky, ¿bailas la salsa?
Sí, bailo la salsa. Leah, ¿tú aprendes el tango?
Sí, aprendo el tango.
Muy bien. Yo aprendí el tango en Argentina. Es un baile muy lindo. Es difícil, pero muy lindo. Bien, Leah a Carly.
Carly, ¿tú deseas la carne?
Sí, deseo la carne. Sky, ¿tú ordenas los dulces?
Sí, ordeno los dulces. Leah, ¿bailas en la calle mucho?
Sí, bailo en la carne mucho. Carly, ¿tú tomas la leche?
Sí, tomo la leche. Sky. ¿Qué significa tragos?
Los tragos, cocktails.
Cocktails, every time. Why can't I remember this one? All right, Sky. ¿Tú reservas los tragos?
Sí, reservo los tragos.
That's one of those words, you know, after 2 or 3 of them, it makes things a little fuzzy, so it's hard to remember.
Yeah. It's so important. The dessert and the cocktails.
I'd forgotten that one too. Leah, ¿bebes el jugo de naranja?
Sí, bebo el jugo de naranja. Carly, ¿tú corres en el gimnasio?
Sí, corro en el gimnasio. Sky, ¿tú corres con tu perro?
Sí, corro con mi perro.
Muy bien.
Lea. ¿Tú lees cada día?
Sí, leo cada día. Carly, ¿tú hablas español, el español?
Sí, hablo el español. Let's see, sky. ¿Qué significa algo?
Algo means something or
Something,
anything.
okay. Sky. ¿Lees algo interesante?
Sí, leo algo interesante. Lea. Let's see. ¿Tú aprendes la historia?
Sí, aprendo la historia.
Muy bien. Last round. You're doing great. Muy bien.
Carly, ¿qué significa alguien?
Alguien.
Alguien.
Alguien means somebody. Somebody or anybody.
Carly, ¿tú hablas con alguien? ¿Alguien?
Sí, hablo con alguien. Sky, ¿tú vives en Denver?
Sí, vivo en Denver. Lea. ¿Tú vives cerca de aquí?
Sí, vivo cerca de aquí. Carly,
So I've got to stop you on that one. So aquí means here. So Sky is asking you, do you live close to here? So a couple of things there. Do you know where Sky lives? And then do you indeed live close to where Sky lives? I don't think so.
well, close is relative. I'm not, I'm in the same state.
Relative, yeah.
So would you say, how would you answer that? Or just,
So to be honest, right, you might have to ask a follow-up question there. I would say donde vives, right? Like, where do you live? You might have to flip that back around and say, wait a second, where do you live? I don't know. No sé, donde vives?
no sé, ¿dónde vives?
Vivo en Green Valley Ranch.
Sí. Sí, vivo cerca de aquí. I'm actually quite close.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Carly, ¿tú escribes poesía?
Sí, escribo poesía.
Poesía.
Sky, ¿recibes cartas de amor?
Sí, recibo cartas de amor. Lea. ¿Tú recibes correos electrónicos?
Sí, recibo correos electrónicos. Carly, ¿tú escribas invitaciones a las fiestas?
So it's an IR verb, so you need to say escribes.
¿Escribes invitación a fiestas?
Sí, escribo invitaciones a fiestas. Sky, ¿recibes correo de política?
Sí, recibo correo de política. Lea. Oh, I guess. I don't know what to put with this one. Friends in your house.
So friends in your house, you could say just about anything there, but I don't know. Do you want friends in your house? ¿Deseas amigos en tu casa?
Oh, yeah, because over. So Leah, ¿deseas amigos en tu casa? Or amigos en tu casa?
Sí, deseo amigos en mi casa. En mi casa. Carly, ¿tú caminas con los amigos?
Sí, camino con los amigos. Sky. ¿Tú hablas de la política?
No, no hablo de la política. Then Leah, ¿tú bailo frecuentemente?
Tú bailas.
Oh, sorry, ¿tú bailas frecuentemente?
No, no bailo frecuentemente.
Okay, nice job with the conversation this morning, everybody. All right, take turns asking each other about the dates here.
Carly, ¿cómo se dice January 1st?
El primo de...
That would be the cousin of January.
Primero?
Primero would be the first. Yeah.
What did I say?
El primo is cousin.
Oh, okay, primero.
Primero is
That's
first.
what it looks like in my head. Okay, primero de enero.
Muy bien.
Sky, ¿cómo se dice February 14th?
El 14 de febrero. Leah, ¿cómo se dice March 17th?
El 17 marzo, de marzo. Sky, ¿cómo se dice April 1st?
Is that for
I'm
Carly?
sorry, that was Carly. ¿Cómo se dice? I'm sorry, my brain is not working.
El primero de abril. Sky, ¿cómo se dice May 5th?
5 de mayo. Leah, ¿cómo se dice June 13th?
El 13 de sorry, June. Junio.
Junio. Muy bien.
Junio. Carly, ¿cómo se dice July 4th?
El 4 de julio. Sky, ¿cómo se dice August 16th?
16 de agosto. Leah, ¿cómo se dice September 11th?
El 11 de septiembre. Carly, ¿cómo se dice October 31st?
El 21 de octubre.
31.
¿Es it 31? 31? Sí. Sky, ¿cómo se dice November 27th?
26 de noviembre. Leah, ¿cómo se dice December 25th?
El 25 de diciembre.
¿Y cuál es la fecha de hoy, Carly?
Hoy es el 13
Sí.
de octubre.
Muy bien. All right, let's learn how to count up to 100 now. So the first step is just to identify and learn your base numbers. So repeat after me here. 0,
Cero.
10,
10,
20.
And
20.
So notice that those first three are kind of irregular. After that, we see a model, a pattern emerge that they end with a, right? So we've got 30,
30,
40,
40.
50,
50.
60,
60.
70,
70,
80,
80.
90,
90,
100.
100.
Perfecto. Okay, so super important to know how to count to 10, right? So everybody count with me. 0.
Cero.
Oh, I guess we're not going to count up to 10 here. That's odd.
So it's
Okay,
not that
anyways.
one. Okay.
So I think you know how to count up to 10 anyway. 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. After that, we've got these irregular patterns that we have to focus on. So 11 through 19, you just have to treat independently, right? So let's count these together. 11,
11.
12,
11, 12,
13,
13.
13,
14,
14.
15,
15.
16,
16,
17,
17,
18,
18,
19.
19.
The 20s have their own model. So this is an odd thing, but 20 is 20. And then when we change over to say 21, we change that A to an E. So it's 21, 22, right? And then from there, it's just a matter of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Adding those on to the 20 after that. After that, everything else follows this model. So we've got 30, 30, and then 31, 32, 33, etc. And then we can see that this model gets followed all the way up to 100, right? So that irregular pattern with the 20s, 21, where it's combined into one word. After 30, 32, 43, 54. Although when you're speaking to a native Spanish speaker, just the way the language flows, it's going to sound like they're jumbling it all together into one word, 32. But it is technically 3 distinct words, right? And that goes all the way up to 100, 100. Muy bien. So let's practice our numbers. And just really good kind of cultural advice when traveling to Latin America. I would imagine Spain. It's been a long time since I've been to Spain, so I can't remember exactly. I was in Spain before the Euro, and so I can't really, I don't know what it's like since they've joined the European Union. But in Latin America, you know, they don't post prices up like the way it's required here in the United States. So it's a really good idea when you're traveling to get in the habit of asking how much things cost before you buy them, right? So you can just take turns asking each other these questions here. Okay, so let's go Sky to Leah.
Leah, ¿cuánto cuesta el desayuno?
$15. Carly, ¿cuánto cuesta el almuerzo?
Almuerzo.
Almuerzo.
$20.
And so you said 20, right? But is the just raw
20.
number 20? It's 20.
20.
20. You say 20 when you start adding on other numbers, right? So very, very odd thing about 20 there.
20. Sky, ¿cuánto cuesta la cena?
$30.
Okay, muy bien. Now notice the difference here. So these were singular things that we were talking about. Think about the verb gustar, right? When we're talking about something singular, it ends with an a. When we talk about something plural, you add an in, because now we're saying, this is like saying how much does it cost versus how much do they cost in the plural. Oops, where'd we go here? There we go. Okay, so keep going with these ones in the plural now. ¿Cuánto cuestan with the in on the end?
Is it my turn?
Sure.
Leah, ¿cuánto cuestan las entradas?
Las entradas cuestan $23. Carly, ¿cuánto cuestan los segundos?
Los segundos cuestan $67. Sky, ¿cuánto cuestan los postres?
Los postres cuestan $32.
Muy bien. Now, if you're like me, when you get on that plane to go to Latin America, the first thing you're going to have to do is go out and buy something because you've forgotten something at home. So these are things that I think you should all make sure that you know how to say. So the first category, we have artículos de aseo. That's like saying toiletries. Repeat after me. Cepillo dental.
Cepillo dental.
Crema dental.
Crema
Crema
dental.
dental.
Desodorante.
Desodorante.
Peine.
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 Right? Or something else I might forget would be ropa, clothes, ropa. So here we've got calcetines.
Calcetines.
Ropa interior.
Ropa interior.
Cinturón.
Cinturón.
Pantalones.
Pantalones.
And then finally, maybe you just want to buy a souvenir to bring home to somebody, and that would be called a recuerdo.
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 Gorra,
Gorra.
camiseta,
Camiseta.
afiche,
Afiche.
toalla.
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 Muy bien. So keep practicing with these numbers here. Another thing that you should get used to is when you're traveling in Latin America, and I believe it's like this in Spain as well, they use the periods and the commas backwards from the way we use them, right? So we use a period to separate dollars for cents. They use a comma. We use a comma to separate the thousands, and they use a period. So keep that in mind as well. So Carlita, Sky.
Sky, ¿cuánto cuestan los cepillos dentales?
Los cepillos dentales cuestan ocho. Well, I don't know how to say this. Do I say $8.50?
Yeah, so here you can say $8.50.
Okay. $8.50.
Normally you'd say con, like saying with 50 cents. $8 with 50 cents. $8.50.
Okay. Leah, ¿cuánto cuesta la crema dental?
Sorry, 1 minute.
And by the way, so just for, sorry to interrupt, but just for kind of also to keep in mind for travel related purposes, the good news is like the word dollar in Spanish is incredibly awkward for us to say for whatever reason, dólares, dólar. If you're going to Europe, so Leah, for when you go to Spain, you're going to be using euros, right? If you want to get in the habit of saying euros, that's fine. In most other Spanish-speaking countries, you're going to be using pesos, right? Which is much easier to say, pesos. So feel free to use dólares, euros, or pesos for the purpose of this conversation.
Okay. La crema dental cuesta 10 euros
Muy bien.
con 39
Nueve, because nuevo is new. 39.
39 centavos.
Muy bien.
Carly, ¿cuánto cuesta el desodorante?
El desodorante cuesta $5. Sky, ¿cuánto cuestan los peines?
Peines.
Peines. Peines.
Los peines cuestan 3 pesos con 81 centavos.
Muy bien. All right. So now we've got another round of these with souvenirs.
Lea, ¿cuánto cuesta la gorra?
And I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Something was getting skipped here. This is weird. Okay. So we're actually on ropa.
Okay. Lea, ¿cuánto cuestan los pantalones?
Los pantalones cuestan. Sorry. hang on. Both of my kids are trying to call me. I think there's something wrong. I need to take a minute.
Go ahead, Leah. Go
Something-
ahead. Yeah.
So I guess Carly then, ¿cuánto cuestan los pantalones?
Los pantalones cuestan $67. Sky, ¿cuánto cuesta la ropa interior?
La ropa interior cuesta 13 pesos. Carly, ¿cuánto cuestan los cinturones?
Los cinturones cuestan 25 dólares. Leia, ¿cuánto cuestan los calcetines?
Los calcetines cuestan 15 euros.
Muy bien. Ahora, los recuerdos. So I guess
Sky,
we flipped the order now.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
Leah to Sky. That's okay.
mira, Sky. Sky, ¿cuánto cuesta la gorra?
La gorra cuesta 29 pesos.
So remember the 20s, you don't do that. You combine it into one word. 29. 29.
29
There you
pesos. So I'm going to Carly. Carly, excuse me. ¿Cuánto cuesta el cartel?
El cartel cuesta 75 pesos. And then I'm going to Leia, right?
Mhm.
Leia, ¿cuánto cuestan las toallas?
Las toallas cuestan 19.
DSC.
I keep speaking Italian.
Today you're on Italian mode.
I know. Yesterday it was French mode. Today it's Italian mode.
I haven't heard your Italian come out here before, but yeah,
yeah.
Leia speaks French and Italian outside of this. So
Wow.
I get them all mixed up. I know enough to get them all messed up. So, all right. Las toallas cuestan $19. Sky, ¿cuánto cuesta la camiseta?
La camiseta cuesta 100 pesos.
muy bien. Ahora el regateo. El regateo or bargaining es muy común en América Latina, especialmente en mercaditos y tiendas de recuerdos. Es sugerido negociar. En tiendas formales no es normal. So what this just means is you have to get ready for something that I find incredibly annoying when I travel, but the bargaining, right? The negotiations on just about everything that you do in Latin America. I don't think it's so much like this in Europe, but in Latin America, you can just about never take the first price they give you at face value, right? That's why I was saying they don't put prices on things so that they can do this. So this is a little dialogue to help you kind of get through this experience if you're not used to it, right? So let's have you start, Sky, you're on the left, and Leia, you're on the right.
Okay. Hola, amigo. ¿Deseas un buen recuerdo?
And so because you're talking to Leia, you can change this to amiga, right? Hola, amiga.
Sorry, Leah. Hola, amiga. ¿Deseas un buen recuerdo?
So what is she? Okay. Si me gusta la camiseta, ¿cuánto cuesta?
La camiseta cuesta $99.
$99. No, gracias, muy caro.
Bien. This would be annoying. Bien, entonces, 50 pesos.
¿Qué tal 25?
Hecho.
Bien, llevo la camiseta, gracias.
De nada. Adiós.
Yeah, so just get used to this for traveling in touristy places in Latin America, especially, right? So you can see how you're just kind of starting off. They give you one price and you say, no, thanks, that's really expensive, right? And they immediately respond with another price, oftentimes ridiculous. The worst I ever got it was I was in the Dominican Republic and I was at a little market thing and they were selling pieces of art. And I was just walking by making conversation and I asked the guy how much this one painting cost and he said $500. And I was like, oh, just like this. No, 500, that's really expensive. And he dropped the price after that to $50. He went from $500 to $50, just like that, right? So I was like, wow. So you just have to get, as soon as you get it, it is what it is, right? People are going to peg you for a gringa as soon as you get down there, right? They're going to say, here comes the American with the money. So it's just something you have to get used to, right? Kind of do whatever you feel comfortable with. Like there's a couple of things I do like to bring up here, is that a lot of these people are absurdly poor, right? So, if you haggle them too much on the price, you can also end up doing a disservice to them, right? But it's also uncomfortable that oftentimes they will start with an absurdly high price because they see you as the American tourist, right? So it's do what you feel most comfortable with, you don't have to bargain with people. You can just give them the money that they're asking for, right? And I'm sure it will be very well received, but it's up to you, right? But it's my experience that you should just about never accept the first price because they will almost immediately counter with a better price. Now, if you're in like a formal shopping mall, right, that's probably not going to happen. But in a lot of places, even with like taxi rides and certain places like that, you want to kind of agree to a price before you get in, right? A couple of little vocabulary words here, right? You're saying 99, that's really expensive. Es muy caro. And so the person responds, bien, entonces, $50. So entonces is kind of a versatile word. It can mean so or then or like how about, as well as que tal. Do you remember when we learned que tal? It's kind of a way to say like what's up or how's it going? And it's also versatile in this situation where it can be used kind of like how about $25, right? So, vamos a practicar. Leia, you're on the left, and then Carly, you're on the right.
Hola, amiga. ¿Deseas un buen recuerdo?
Sí, me gusta bien. ¿Cuánto cuesta?
Me gusta la gorra.
Sorry. Me gusta la gorra. ¿Cuánto cuesta?
La gorra cuesta $50.
$50. No, gracias. $50 es muy cara.
Bien, entonces, $35.
¿Qué tal 20?
Hecho.
Bien, llevo la gorra. Gracias.
De nada, adiós.
¿Qué significa
Hecho.
bien recuerdo? The first one.
Deseas un buen recuerdo. Do you want a good
Bien.
souvenir?
Bien recuerdo.
And
Souvenir.
somebody is asking about hecho.
Sí.
Yeah.
Hecho means done. Like done deal.
Okay.
Is it my turn?
Let's see here. Now we're going Carly to Sky, right?
I think it's good.
We just went Leah to Carly.
Mhm.
And so now Carly to Sky.
Hola, amiga. ¿Deseas un buen recuerdo? Recuerdo.
Sí, me gusta el cartel. ¿Cuánto cuesta?
El cartel cuesta. Do I make it up?
Yep.
Okay. $100.
Woo.
$100. No, gracias. $100 es muy caro.
Bien, entonces $10.
¿Qué tal $1? Un peso.
Hecho.
Bien, llevo el cartel. Gracias.
De nada. Adiós.
All right. Hola, amiga. ¿Deseas un buen recuerdo?
Sí, me gusta campara.
Me gusta la toalla.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Me gusta la toalla. ¿Cuánto cuesta?
La toalla cuesta $100.
$100. No, gracias. $100 es muy caro.
Bien, entonces $50.
¿Qué tal $20?
Hecho.
Bien, llevo la toallas. Gracias.
La toalla. Toalla.
Toalla. Wow, that doesn't sound anything like it reads. La toalla. Gracias.
De nada. Adiós.
Okay, muy bien. Last one.
Carly, hola amiga. ¿Deseas un buen recuerdo?
Recuerdo.
Sí, me gusta la camiseta. ¿Cuánto cuesta?
La camiseta cuesta $60.
$60. No, gracias. $60 es muy caro.
Bien, entonces $50?
50? 50?
Yes.
Bien.
50. I think your Italian came out again there. 50.
Yeah, it's cinquanta. In Italian it's cinquanta. So I'm just like, I can't get them straight. Cinquanta.
That's so funny that I haven't heard your Italian come out until today. I've heard the French influencing your Spanish, but today for some reason you're on Italian.
Yes.
Were you speaking Italian yesterday or something?
Yes, I was. I have dreams in different languages, and last night was an Italian one.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm so stressed for you. ¿Qué tal $40?
Hecho.
Bien, llevo la camiseta. Gracias.
De nada. Adios.
Okay, excelente. Muy bien. So conjunction words help us just form more complex sentences and questions and stuff. So we've got the two common ones. E means and, o means or, right? And you can mix them, right? I could say, Carly, ¿deseas tomar agua o una cerveza?
Yo deseo tomar agua y una cerveza.
Right? You might want both. So take turns asking each other these questions. Leah to Carly, número uno.
Sorry, Carly, ¿tú deseas tener más dinero o más tiempo libre.
And pronounce that O a little more like an O. O. Más tiempo libre.
O más tiempo libre.
Deseo más tiempo libre. ¿Hablas con tus amigos o con tu familia más?
Hablo con mis amigos y con mi familia.
So the question is, which one do you talk to more? The word más
Oh.
means more. So
Hablo con mi familia más. Lea, ¿caminas en el parque o en las montañas frecuentemente?
Camino en las montañas frecuentemente. Frecuentemente. That one, frecuentemente. Carly, ¿ordenas las entradas o el postre el postre en los restaurantes?
Ordeno las entradas y el postre en los restaurantes. Sky, ¿toma cervezas o vino?
Tomo cerveza. Lea, ¿bailas salsa o bachata?
Vaya salsa. Carly, ¿viajas más a la playa o las montañas? O a las montañas.
Viajo a la playa más. Sky, ¿bebes café o té en la mañana?
¿Qué significa té?
hey, tea.
Oh, all right, okay. Bebo café en la mañana. Lea, ¿comes más la comida? Oh, I was having so much trouble trying to pronounce this word. Can you pronounce it for me?
Estadounidense. So break it down by, so every now and then we get these big, long, complicated words, right? Don't get scared of them. Just break them down by the vowels, right? So you've got a syllable for each vowel here, right? And you can start just like this. Repeat after me. A,
A,
O,
O,
U,
U,
E,
E,
A,
A,
A.
A.
All right, now listen to how I do this. A, O, U, E, A. Now you try.
A, O, U, E, A.
Good. Now you start putting it together. Estadounidense.
Estadounidense.
So that's the sound that your mouth needs to make. You eventually start speeding that up, right? Estadounidense.
Estadounidense.
And then try to say it normal. Estadounidense.
Estadounidense.
Perfecto.
Let's see if I can do it again. ¿Comes más la comida estadounidense o la comida mexicana?
O más la comida mexicana.
Como.
Como más la comida mexicana. Carly, ¿corres dentro o fuera normalmente?
Corro dentro normalmente. Sky, ¿vives en la ciudad o en los suburbios?
Vivo en los suburbios. Lea, ¿escribes mensajes de texto o llamas por teléfono? Llamas por teléfono.
Llamo por teléfono.
Okay, muy bien. ¿Qué hora es? That means what time is it? In Spanish, the answer is going to depend on if it's 1 o'clock or any other hour. If it's 1 o'clock, we're going to say es la una because they treat time as singular or plural. If it's any other time, you're going to say son las followed by the number. So if it's 2 o'clock, you'd say son las dos. Of course, we can connect minutes to the hour with that connector word we just learned, y. Son las 7:23. So, vamos a practicar. Lea, ¿qué hora es?
Son las 12:08.
Yeah, don't say minuto, just son las 12:08. Sky, ¿qué hora es?
Son las 6:38.
Muy bien. ¿Qué hora es, Carly?
Son las 4.
¿Qué hora es, Lea?
Son las 10:10.
Oops. ¿Qué hora es?
Son las 3:45.
¿Qué hora es?
Son las 8:34.
Try that again.
24.
There you go. Yeah, I think you said 34 the first
I
time.
think I did, yeah.
Lea, ¿qué hora es ahora?
Son las 7 y I'm going to say it in Italian, 53.
Muy bien, 53. 53.
Y tres.
Sky, ¿cuál es la fecha de hoy?
13 de octubre.
¿Y cuándo es tu cumpleaños, Carly?
Mi cumpleaños es el 36 de julio.
Muy bien. El 36? The 36th of July?
Yes, it's a very special day. May just 26.
El 26,
El
26.
26.
Okay. Okay, muy bien. So, ¿a qué hora vas? Talking about time. This is kind of a related question, right? So in Spanish, you would say, for example, if you wanted to say like, at what time do you go to work, right? So you start that question by saying, ¿a qué hora? And then we've got the verb to go. ¿A qué hora vas al trabajo? So this vas means do you go, right? And you would answer it by saying voy a las, right? So voy to wherever you're going, and then a las to connect the time with et, right? So ¿a qué hora vas al trabajo? Voy al trabajo a las 9. Okay. ¿A qué hora vas al trabajo, Sky?
Voy al trabajo a las 8.
Muy bien. ¿A qué hora vas a la casa, Lea?
Voy a la casa a las 5.
¿A qué hora vas a la escuela, Carly?
Voy a la escuela.
Voy a la escuela.
Voy a la escuela las 7.
Yeah. So if it's a feminine word, we say a la. If it's a masculine word, we combine a with el, and we get that one word al. So that's why it's that first one is al trabajo, but these others are a la escuela. Sky, ¿a qué hora vas al gimnasio?
Voy al gimnasio a las 5.
Muy bien. So we've got some new verbs to learn before we wrap things up today here. Repeat after me. Andar.
Andar.
Entrar.
Entrar.
Pasar.
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 Caminar.
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 Manejar.
Manejar.
Viajar.
Viajar.
Correr.
Correr.
And we've got ir.
Ir.
So notice that ir is a super irregular word. So when you conjugate it, it doesn't follow the normal pattern at all. You say yo voy to say I go, tu vas to say you go. Okay, let's practice these real quick before we go. Leah, do number 1.
Tú andas por la calle.
Muy bien.
Yo entro por la puerta.
Tú pasas por el banco.
To ir por la
So
autopista.
it is that irregular one. Yo voy, I go. Tú vas, you go.
Oh, tú vas
Vas.
por la autopista.
Muy bien.
Yo camino por las montañas.
Ya te puso uno en la barra ahí, Gustavo. Acá.
Yo manejo por el norte de Denver.
Tú viajas por México.
Muy bien.
Yo corro por el parque.
Perfecto. Okay. So again, we're seeing this word por show up, right? And it's that connecting helper word that can mean various things. So another use case for it is to express general movement or general location. So nothing very specific. So it's like number one is like tú andas por la calle, like you're here. It's kind of like just saying you're out and about. You're going out. You're going around the streets, right? Nothing. You're not doing anything in specific. You're just out and about. Yo entro por la puerta. I enter through the door. Tú pasas por el banco. You pass by the bank, right? So it's just a connector word here. Can mean a few different things in English. And that brings us to just about the top of the